Coming up today on the Canadian Real Estate Show.
4 in 5 Canadians say home ownership is now a luxury.
The Consumer Price Index rose 2% in October, tipping scales.
City of Vaughan is reducing development charges considerably.
Canadian dollar stumbles to 4.5-year low as U.S. powers ahead.
Trudeau government to send $250 checks to most people.
And Canadian home sales rose 30% in October. Like Dr. Evil.
What the hell was it? This more coming on.
What are you even trying to say?
All this and more coming right up on the Canadian Real Estate Show. Let's go.
You're crazy, guys. You're so crazy, you know? We're so crazy. One day we think this show's going to be everything, you know? We're so crazy. Already sweating in this jacket.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Mr. TK back on the show once again.
Wow. I feel like the guest today with that introduction. I feel like today's my
try
day.
that again.
Can today be my... Okay.
What day isn't your day, TK? I swear, if we had like, I asked the editor to make a scoreboard, and I don't think he will because he said it's going to be a lot of work, but we should put up a scoreboard of how often we each cut each other off. We should just see, because it's
1,
like
2, 3.
I feel
No,
like in
Darryl.
the comment section, like people think I cut you off all the time, but I don't think they really pay attention, or maybe they just really, really always want you to finish off what you're saying, and it's the TK show.
One thing I learned in life is that if enough people say something about me, it's usually true.
It's usually true.
You know,
So,
if people are constantly telling me that, you know, I need to worry about, you know, other people more, or I need to not use my phone while I'm driving, or I need to, you know, maybe wear less blue hats with red jackets.
yeah,
It's usually true.
usually true.
Usually it turns out to be true. Yeah.
Well, in this case, it's not. And in this case, you're lucky, TK. You get to drive and have a cell phone. Most people can't afford that.
So I'm actually looking to change insurance companies. So I was talking to Aviva, and they were telling me, they're like, hey, if you want to take on this app, it's like telematics, where you have the phone in your car while you drive. And I was like, all right, give it to me. So I started doing some research on it. So it's basically like I get a discount because they see my driving patterns. Now, I'm not sure if it's like all the time, or if it's like the first 200 kilometers, because I read that, or it's the last 60 days before a renewal. I read all those things, so I'm not really sure which it is. But during that time period that they're recording it, if I have really good driving habits, which means like, you know, accelerating, decelerating, turns, like, I don't know, the areas that I'm driving in, whatever it is, I'm going to get a discount on my insurance. And it was like pretty good discount too. Like I would say it would be like between 10 and 20%. But also because it's an app on my phone usage. So if they're like, hey, this guy's always like, you know what I mean, texting, or he's like looking up, you know what I mean, like how to bake really good oatmeal cookies while he's driving, then that's not going to get you a lot of points, obviously, right? That's not really a good thing. But
what the hell does this have to do with anything?
We were just talking about something.
About having the money to have a phone and a car.
No,
and
that wasn't it.
Rolled into insurance, and
it's true though. Think about it. Telematics.
Yeah.
Monitoring while you're driving your habits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a Tesla.
Are you using your phone? How are you driving? All that kind of stuff. You get a discount. It's like the social you know, credit system in China, right? Do good and you will be rewarded. There you go. Drive good and your insurance will be cheaper.
Hello, everyone. Let's take a moment to reflect on something simple yet significant. Conversations about real estate, about the market, the economy, and the challenges we all face. These aren't just idle talk. They're a way to create order in a complex and unpredictable world. If you find value in these discussions, do your part to keep them alive. Subscribe to the Canadian Real Estate Show. Hit the like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment. Be thoughtful, precise, and make sure you hit the damn bell. Let's build this community together, one small act at a time. It matters more than you think. That's not just for us, it's for you too. It's a way to participate in a process of collective growth, a way to say, yes, I value this, I want more of this. Not that crap on the Tom Story Show, horrible.
Well, that's good, I suppose, if you drive good, but who the hell drives good? Anyways,
Well,
TK.
you just drive good during the period that you got the app, Darryl. Come on.
I feel like you just ruined my whole thing there, segueing into something that people actually give a shit about
You definitely
with that
cut me off.
insurance thing.
You cut me off with
I
all
needed to
sorts
cut
of
you off
nonsense.
sooner, I think.
I don't know. I don't know what you were talking about or what led us into that conversation, but it made a lot of sense at the time.
I guess it made a lot of sense at the time.
did.
Well,
It
I
did.
think people are up in arms, TK, and people are, okay, the point I was trying to get to is that you're a fortunate one. You have a car and a phone. And so you're not worried about this $250 check, but is there anybody out there in Canada that thinks that one, this $250 check is going to help them, and two, do they even think it's a good idea at all?
Listen,
Like, there's a lot of
18.7 million people who make $150,000 or less. $250 is $250, Darryl. All right, so let's not downplay a $250 check. But of course, it doesn't make a difference.
$150,000, like that being that being even a number that is considered is crazy. Like when I don't even know how long ago.
Rich people,
150 grand.
$150,000.
That was pretty
Rich.
good. Like even 8 years ago.
You're going to be
Maybe
moving to
even
the bridal
7
pack
years
with
ago.
$150,000. You know what?
Depending on when in my
Honestly,
lifetime, that
people
could
making
be true.
$150,000 right now need the $250, Darryl.
fucking
We better
broke,
we
right?
better not upset everybody, okay? Because talking
Holy
about this,
shit.
that people might think that we're going to influence the government. You know.
Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Canadians, today I have the privilege, no, the honor of unveiling a bold, transformative plan to tackle the challenges facing our nation. I'm talking, of course, about a truly life-changing $250 tax rebate. Yes, $250. Enough to cover almost a tank of gas, half a grocery run, or a single popcorn combo at the movies. You're welcome. But wait, that's not all. As part of my government's innovative forward-thinking approach, we're also introducing a temporary hold on GST for essential goods, because who wouldn't want to enjoy their tax-free holiday on such critical life necessities as wine, restaurant meals, and those dazzling Christmas sweaters? For 2 whole months, you can live like royalty if royalty shops exclusively at the bargain bin. Now, I can already hear some critics grumbling, Justin, what about inflation? Housing? Healthcare? And to them, I say details, folks, details. Let's focus on what really matters. Hear me, standing here looking very serious while handing you a crisp $250 and saying, don't spend it all in one place. Because that's what good governance is about, isn't it? Tackling systemic economic challenges with short-term gimmicks and a festive sprinkling of holiday cheer. You get a tax break on your Christmas tree, folks. That's nation building right there. So let's celebrate this monumental initiative together. Raise your tax-free glass of boxed wine and toast to Canada's finest tradition solving big problems with tiny band-aids.
Half the population makes less than $150,000 and needs $250. And on top of it is all these other goddamn tax breaks on like some food and
GST,
video
HST
games.
things. It was so stupid, right? Did you read some of the
happening?
things that were on there?
Yeah,
One of
video
them was-
games, consoles.
Yeah, video games. Hey, video games.
Get out
Like,
there.
nothing wrong
Christmas
with that.
time is
Nothing wrong
what
with
they're
that.
saying. No, isn't this like to help boost Christmas sales? Like, what the fuck is this all about? But hold on, let's unpack it a little bit. When you offer this a break, which I mean, people will take advantage of. I mean, you don't even have to plan to take advantage of it to take advantage of it. You just go out and shop and you automatically take advantage of this. But that money, I think up until like 2 days ago, was expected revenue, right? So not only are they giving it to us, but they're really inflating the deficit by doing this, TK. This is a giant spend, like a giant fucking amount of money when you think about it, right?
But they obviously are not concerned about the debt. Like, what government would be concerned about the debt? Like, think about it. Like, no government is ever going to have to pay off the debt while they are in power.
In power, right?
Right? Like, it's
Right.
never going to be a problem that they are able to solve. And
Oh
so
my
it's
God,
kind of just
that's-
like, do we really need to solve this problem here? Well, in 100 years from now,
Should we just
this
say
debt
stuff
will be
for
nothing. We
another
should
couple of
just
years?
inflate the heck out of the money so that we can pay back trillions of dollars by finding change in the sofas down in Ottawa. That's what it's going to be like.
But this is Crazyville. Okay,
Well,
this is
okay,
Crazyville combined with.
It's all political. And listen, at the end of the day,
But how's that? Who's sitting there going, okay, wow, look at this check, man. I'm voting for this dumb fuck again for sure now. Who's doing that, TK?
I'm going to take my HST free video games for the kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, do it
Would
with
you
a
have
smile.
not bought them before that?
If I can save 13%, Darryl, why would I not?
It's not, but you would have bought the video games anyways.
But I'm saving 13%. Maybe I can buy one more video games, make the Christmas even better.
Right, because most video games cost 13% of the other video games.
If you buy 7 of them and you save
I suppose if you were planning
now
on,
you can buy 8 for the same price, Darryl.
Wow, you know, there is a silver lining, isn't there,
Right?
TK? Right? You know what sucks though is there isn't even 7 good games to buy if you want.
There's probably not. I know.
That's really
they just keep
pathetic.
making video games over nothing. Anyways, why are we talking about video games?
I don't
Darryl?
know what the hell we're talking about. The point is people are broke and $250 doesn't do shit. Because have you been to the grocery store, TK? Have you
I
been
go to
there?
the grocery store. I
You
go there.
And
I
how
go.
much
I'm
do
there.
you end up bringing home for $80? My wife comes back, it's $400, and we're all looking there. Where's the food? What are we supposed to eat? You got eggs. You got eggs and some juice and some milk and $400. What's going on here?
That's the best $400 basket of goods you ever tasted. All right, so don't downplay it.
It's organic.
It's organic.
It's organic.
Like I guarantee you, none of that stuff is the cheap stuff.
No,
you guys aren't shopping at, you know, fill in the blank grocery store.
No, we're not.
We're
shopping at fill in the blank grocery store.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody. Tell
it doesn't matter where you shop. You can't buy shit for $250.
Look, it's all political. Right now, you got Poilievre promising all sorts of stuff. Housing. Imagine if Trudeau decides to come out with some other housing policy. Like, I'm not going to believe it. Nothing has worked so far.
Crazy?
It's all garbage. And so the fact that somebody else has got, you know, as their leader of the opposition, they're obviously coming out saying swinging because housing's a popular topic. He's got to find ways now to be able to make people who are struggling. And now you, Mr. You know, rich developer living in, you know, an owned home and developing in the best neighborhoods in Toronto, $250, I understand, is not going to, you know, move the needle here. But for somebody who has the right to vote, who has the right to vote, and who is struggling to get their kids present. I had someone say something to me really, I can't really say it because I don't want them to know that I'm talking about them, but they said something really enlightening for me about what a certain small amount of money. They said, well, TK, it would mean that much to you, and they described to me what I would do with that money, but it would mean Christmas toys for my kids.
Whoa!
And I was like touched, you know. I was like, oh, heavy in the heart.
Yes.
I want to help you get that money.
No, I feel like
that
such
bag.
A piece of
and
shit.
So that $250, Darryl, those discounts on those toys is gonna mean somebody. And guess what those people can do, Darryl? Guess what those people are able to do because they are over the age of 18 and Canadian citizens.
What?
Vote.
Vote.
They can vote.
Vote.
This is what happens.
This is
Elections
what happens.
coming. Promises are out there. So,
and you think people
no surprise. Does it move the needle? Probably not.
But will people look past all this other shit for $250?
Somebody's gonna be a little bit softer. The way that the elections work, the way that people vote, the decisions that people make, the process, it makes no sense.
It's mental.
Let's just all admit that, you know, and they all do it. Some people say, well, I vote because my husband or wife voted that way.
Right.
I vote because that guy knocked on my door. He seemed like a nice guy. I vote because that's who I voted for last time. I vote because my dad voted that way. Right. I vote because the policy they had back in the 90s was really cool. I vote because back in the 70s, the other guy screwed things up. All these things make no sense.
Legalizing marijuana got this dumb fuck in the door this time. Right?
I vote because I want to smoke myself.
I want to smoke myself some weed. So I'm going to vote for this guy because I couldn't get any before, right? Now, but I mean, I guess it's easier for everybody.
How many stoners who don't vote got off their mom's couch in the basement to go vote for him in 2016?
Yeah, listen. I mean, instead of making a phone call, now you got to go into a store. Maybe it's even worse now, TK. But anyways,
Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change anywhere in Ontario? Guess what? We're hiring. Franklin Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Franklin Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
listen, this whole place is upside down and crazy. They all promise more housing. They all promise this. They all promise that. None of it's really true. They're not really trying, just like right there. I mean, are they sitting there in a room going like, oh my God, this is going to be the thing that actually gets him back in. This is brilliant, guys.
I think that they do.
They do.
I think that
Based
is
on,
actually what happens.
I think
if
actually,
they sit in a room and they go, "This is genius,
yeah,
guys. This is going to be the one that works."
It's true. Actually, now that I think about all the
Right?
people I'm currently dealing with in government, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe they are actually thinking that
They
this
are
is a
trying
good
their
idea
best.
because
They
don't
are
really
trying
think too good.
their
Right?
best.
So they're
Yeah.
sitting there going, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We got to get this guy back in office because then otherwise we lose our jobs, right? Because this is
Yeah.
all they care about. They're not like, we're behind this guy. They can't possibly, who the hell could possibly be behind this guy for anything? For anything. Like, he's such a dumb fucking idiot. It's unbelievable. Everything he does just fucks this country worse and worse and worse. I was watching this thing actually while I'm all heated up here. Okay. Some of these refugees that are coming in. Okay. I know we're not talking about this, and I don't know why.
Totally unrelated, but
totally
I will
unrelated.
let you go
Thank
because
you.
I'm
Appreciate
a good
you
co-host.
not cutting me off while
Go
you're
ahead.
currently talking. Thank you.
Yes.
They're giving people like $13,000 a month to be unemployed and refugees here in the country, and approving like
They got like 7 kids.
Cadillac Escalades for the family to buy based on that income. We've got people that have been here. How many people do you know, TK? Look, how many people don't make that per month based on this new $250 bullshit, right? It's all people under $150,000, right? So these people,
ironically, those
they get
refugees
the $252.
they won't qualify.
Why not?
13 grand a month.
Times 12.
That's 154,000.
Is it 154? They just
156.
baited over. Look at that. So maybe there was a little bit of thinking there. They're like, we can't give them
Can't
the
just be giving the refugees
252,
the other
right?
$250 after we gave them 13,000.
After 13,000. But the point is like, they're not really trying to fix the country. They're not really trying to get more affordable housing. They're not even really trying to get any more housing from certain perspectives. That may or may not be a developer trying to get more housing on the market. But things, TK, like little things, they don't think to the level that needs to be thought. Okay. They throw out ideas and then they don't think of the repercussions, right? So we show that inflation is up again, right? Inflation is up again. This is something that actually matters.
This is cool.
But
this
the
is cool.
reason apparently
this is like a nice little balance, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want housing prices to skyrocket back up again. I don't want there to be, that type of market like ever again, to be honest with you. It's a very unhealthy market, and that it causes, like, we're seeing the aftermath now. We thought everyone's making money and all these sellers are selling for top dollar and walking away. That's great. Most of them ended up buying again, so that was a wash. Some got out of the market, good for them. But think about all the people who got into the market what they shouldn't have, and it's like ruining their lives. So I really don't want the market to go crazy, and housing is a huge part of the inflation parameters. But
well, it's not what's causing it to go up.
I know it was gas prices in this particular case. But what I was afraid of is that the Bank of Canada overshoots it again, and that they start cutting rates. And if they continue to cut rates at 50 basis points each and every time, that's going to stimulate a lot of activity in the housing market. I don't care who you are, that is going to stimulate a lot of activity.
Look at what happened in October, right?
And a lot of people should not be getting back into the housing market right now. There should be a lot of thought behind investing in real estate, and not just jumping in because you think it's a good investment and there's really no formula on how you're going to make money. Yeah, you need to buy a home because it makes sense to live in that home and be there forever. Yeah, you want to buy an investment property because you have a very strict strategy on how you're going to make money, and that it's going to be a long-term investment that you can weather, certain storms. I'm all for it. But that huge amount of demand from people who I witnessed, honestly, most of the people that I deal with, most of 90% of the people, they don't have a lot of experience in real estate, buying or selling. So they
Sure.
make
How should
huge
they?
mistakes
Why
if they
should
don't
they?
have the right guide and they start doing things that they think based on emotion is the right thing. They make huge mistakes. So this is a good sign. I want inflation to be, ticking up and down, staying around that 2% mark.
Bouncing around.
But I don't want it to be coming down to the point where the economy feels like we need more stimulation. And this really shows how resilient the economy is. Like when you think about it, I'm talking about it all the time, and I'm worried about it, and I'm seeing people who are in trouble, and I'm seeing people around who are not spending as much money as they were before. But the fact that the CPI report came out here at 2% inflation rate, I really believe that the economy has a little bit more reserves than we thought it did, and that we
But
may
hold
not
on a
see
sec.
that hard recession like a lot of people are talking about.
But the last two things that we talked about, just the government doing stupid shit, is super inflationary. On top of the fact that if you look at the numbers and you see what's happening in development and you see what's launching, like nothing's happening, right? And that's going to force
But
the price of
that's a
single
whole
family
different thing, though.
houses to
That's a
go
whole
up.
different thing.
No, but it's all forcing, I think, prices to go up again. Right, as they're bringing, like you say, like they are going to keep bringing down rates, right? The market, look what happened. Actually, we should go check in with our expert coast to coast, just to give everybody a quick snapshot of what's going on out there.
Yeah, because we are always very Toronto centric.
That's
so
right.
sometimes it's good to kind of see a broader perspective of the whole Canadian real estate market. Hey Kip, are you there?
A message from
Kip Conahan.
Okay, you just pretend you didn't see that, okay? Kip Conahan here, coming at you guys coast to coast. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about the Canadian Real Estate Association's October numbers. They just came in, all right? We're going coast to coast here. It's including all the cities, all the territories, all the provinces, even the French-speaking ones. We've got sales climbing 30% higher than they were a year before. 30% is a big number, boys, okay? That's a really big number. And now, as we see listings coming down 3.5% month over month, we had a lot of listings in September, but October wasn't the same, and buyers started buying. Those buyers are sheep, I tell you, sheep. They just follow what all the other buyers are doing. So in total, when you look at the total market, we've got 174,458 listings, which is actually low. It sounds like a crazy number, I know, but overall, this time of year, it's low, and that's pushed average prices higher. It's up to 696,000, up 6% year over year, boys. The market's back. People are buying. Gotta remember the news, boys. Anything else you hear out there ain't true.
Thanks, right? Kip. That was a interesting and detailed report. I guess the discussion from last week didn't sink in, TK.
No,
but
that's okay.
anyways,
I think you did a great job. Good job, Kip.
A lot of stuff in there.
I believe that.
So we're rocking and rolling, though, is what it seems, and we're not building anything, and we're giving money away to anybody that walks through customs. It seems, right?
People are buying again, and people are buying again. If people want to buy houses and that they feel like it's a good time to come and enter the market again, because the people sitting on the sidelines, really, like the people who are sitting on the sidelines, on average, are not sitting on the sidelines because they're looking for an investment. They're looking for a home to live in. Now they could be renting,
for a home to live in, right?
They could be renting. They could be, living with family. They could be looking to upsize, that kind of stuff.
But you're saying they're looking for a home to live in to own, or just to live in general?
To live in to own, exactly. So what I'm saying, the people who are on the sidelines who want to enter the housing market and buy, they're not. Majority of them are not investors. You got coast to coast Canadians.
No, they're not. Yeah.
So some people are just nervous. They're like, oh, I don't want to get into the market when it's the wrong time. but that wears on you. You know, you're living in a place that you're not happy with for whatever reason, and you're just dying to buy that dream home that you saved money for, you got your pre-qualification for, but everyone around you, it's so funny. Here's a story. You put a deal together, okay?
Yeah.
You get a conditional offer accepted. You go back to the office the next day and you tell all your friends, I got an offer accepted last night and I got 1 week of conditions on financing and home inspection. Everybody at the office says, you idiots, the market's gonna crash. I can't believe you bought. Oh my God, right? Get out of that deal. My uncle, my brother, my cousin told me. You go into the office the next day with a firm offer. You say, I was in multiple offers. I bought a house. It was 200,000 over asking. Firm deal. I just dropped the deposit off. I'm a homeowner. I'm moving into that neighborhood in 2 months from now. Guess what everybody says to you?
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Why? What?
I'm so happy for you. Way to go.
What's going on? That doesn't sound like a very intelligent office.
That's what happens though, Darryl.
Celebrate
People are
the
just
win?
so influenced by stupidity. They don't know what they're talking about. And so when someone's got a conditional deal, they want to have that like, see, I told you to back out of that deal. Yeah. But when someone knows they can't back out, it's a firm deal. It's like they bought. They're not going to express their opinions. They're just going to say, hey, congratulations. What a good deal you got. Yeah, 200 grand over asking. Someone probably would have paid 300. Right. Good thing you brought that bully offer.
Well,
like,
it's so weird what's going on. So like the market from like city to city is rip roaring, at least last month. And people are on the sidelines kind of like needing a place to live. But if you read the articles, like they make it seem like most people have given up on the idea that they will ever be able to afford a home. And so, like, how do those things work together while the market's taking off simultaneously? Like, those sound like contradicting statements, don't they?
So I'm on
who the hell's
social
buying?
media. I'm on a social media channel, and I was looking at some stats today, and one of them was net worth, you know, for generations and stuff like that. And you can see the difference in like what percentage of real estate is comprised of people's net worth and stocks and all that kind of stuff. And I think that there needs to be a massive movement in Canada. And no one, you know, the conspiracy theorists will say, well, you know, you'll what is it again? You'll rent and you'll be happy.
You'll own nothing.
You'll own nothing.
And you'll like it. Yeah, you'll be happy.
Okay, so
take it.
Honestly, there's a lot of people who need to change that mindset, and that they're probably some of the younger generations, but
that need to get in line with that mindset. Is that what you're saying?
That need to be okay.
You're gonna own nothing, sucker, and you'll be happy about it
because they're gonna have other investments. Because they're going to do really well financially.
That's owning something.
And I would argue that a lot of them will do even better than if they had owned real estate.
I don't think it's you will own no real estate and you'll be happy. It's you will own nothing, TK. So. You're missing a very important word.
No, it's not. I don't think that's what it is.
It's a million%. What? That's not about real estate. This is the goddamn World Economic Forum that said this. This is Klaus Schwab. You will own nothing and be happy.
Okay, we had him on the show.
You're gonna rent.
We remember.
You're gonna rent your shirt, TK. Right? You're gonna rent that hat on your head. That microphone there. You can't buy that. You could rent it though. You could rent it from.
Can I just borrow it for the day and like?
Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe those won't. Maybe.
Can I pay a fee? Can I pay a fee?
Maybe if you borrow it, it will be considered theft, and the drone robots will come and get you and take that thing off your hands and back to its rightful
As long
owner.
as I can do the podcast, then I'm okay.
Well, but after that,
regardless of what
in
the
Trudeau's
World Economic Forum is saying or not saying, what I'm trying to say is that there's people who are looking at rental as an option now because they're saying, well, home ownership is hopeless, and that they're actually going to start to figure out how to be able to save their money and how to be able to invest their money properly.
Homesteads and living in tents and gardening and living in RVs and
extreme
stuff.
Situations. Okay, we've talked about this ad nauseum. There are some people. You said this before years ago. You would say this. You would say some people just don't belong living in Toronto.
This is most people.
Okay, but the argument that I gave you at that time was well, what about the nurses, the police officers, the people who are like essential to our society and the fabric that it needs to maintain. What about those people? Where are they supposed to live?
I said suction tubes was the answer, right? Like big giant suction tubes.
Whatever your answer was,
suck them back into downtown.
It was not very feasible or realistic.
Smart though.
Okay, but
I feel like that.
Now the market's not that same way.
No.
because those were peak times right there. And we were thinking like it was just going to go to the moon.
Not
So
that
things are
different.
settling down,
Yeah.
and that those people can now afford to buy something. Okay.
Something.
There's lots of condos on the market right now to buy if you're a what do they call those, first line worker, right? So this is obviously an option for you. And the reality is most people in Toronto just can't rely on or expect to buy a detached house. Hey guys, if you're looking to book a call with me, check out the link below in the Calendly and book a real estate related phone call with me anytime.
It's crazy. I saw some chart like mid-November stats for inventory, and it seems like the condos are going down and the single family are going up, which is the exact opposite of what was happening previously. And maybe it's just like a little blip, but it looks like, I guess, some of that condo inventory got absorbed in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I think I had a couple conversations with condo buyers. I was looking at condos this week with somebody. Like, there's really not like that many options for certain types of product. You know, if you want that real cookie cutter high rise product that's, you know, been built within the last couple of years, there's a ton of that stuff.
Yeah, even if there's 40 in the same building, like they're almost all the same unit.
This is not that exciting.
Yeah.
But, you know, like if you're looking in central Toronto and you're looking for something with like a nice big balcony and it's got a good view and it's like a great layout and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's not, and for a good price. Honestly, it's tough to find. Central Toronto, my buyers for housing is the same thing. I messaged somebody yesterday to ask them just like, are you still alive? Because I haven't heard from them. And they're just like, we're looking. There's nothing to go see.
We're getting your search every day, TK. We're getting these updates. It's actually kind of annoying, and there's nothing here.
You're sending me motivational text.
Yeah, stop trying to get me to spend more money, and stop trying to get me to expand my zone.
Right?
Yeah. Stop it. Just stop it.
Listen, Bill.
Stop it.
All right?
You want to own a house, Bill?
Buy an $800,000 house in Forest Hill, all right? It just ain't gonna happen, all right? We got to move to Brampton.
Listen, you could have got like, I mean, I paid just over $1 million each of those houses in Forest Hill. I mean, I don't know if you want to live in them, but technically that statement
you couldn't have bought one of them. You couldn't have bought one of them.
Oh,
one of them wasn't for sale. No.
Well, you could have put like
we
a group of guys
together. We evaluated a lot
at
that time for $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we appraised. So there was no options for $1 million. Although I do have a house right now, 56 Amiens. It's in East Scarborough. It's for sale. Shameless plug. For $900,000. 50 by 140.
For a lot? Is that a lot?
Detached bungalow, 2 bedrooms. It's got a little basement apartment in there that's kind of like a little bit sketchy, but
holding
it's there.
back offers? Holding back offers?
No. It's
900
for a couple weeks.
Oh, geez.
It's a good deal.
All right.
Morningside and Kingston Road. It's on like, if there was a good corner in Morningside and Kingston, this would be it.
If there was a good corner, it's on the corner of Kingston Road and Morningside.
No. I'm just saying it's in that pocket north of Kingston, east of Morningside.
Yeah, listen, everything's good now.
Cute little area. There's some nice houses, expensive stuff.
So, do they get postal service there, TK? Do they get postal service?
Big driveway.
Does TK? Are you paying attention? You know how much this goddamn
not
thing?
This week.
Oh, how much that
what a segue
fucking cost me?
You're such a professional there.
What a professional.
Has anyone complimented you today on your co-hosting skills? No,
they never.
Let's move on.
No, but seriously, TK, that's another inflationary pressure. That's another big fuck up for everybody.
I got family in the Canada Post. I gotta bite my tongue here.
You gotta bite your tongue on this.
I gotta bite my tongue.
Family's an asshole, TK.
Okay?
What are they doing? What's going on here? Do you understand?
So crazy. What business would be allowed to lose?
Right, 315 million a quarter.
Yeah,
a quarter.
It's like it's like $750 million a year. What company, what business would be allowed to continue to operate? You know,
I put stuff in the mail and I don't even know if it's gonna get there still.
Just
right?
Email me.
It's
2024. It's flyers
right?
that don't like. Even so, one of these. I got a message from a hydro company telling me. First of all, they called me. There was like a call that came through. They said, because of the Canada Post, we're not going to be able to send out these hydro bills, right?
Sell all the goddamn properties.
And so then I get an email too from them, saying, hey, we're not going to be able to send you that thing. I'm like, why are you sending it to me in the first place? I'm pretty sure I opted out and just said
Right.
do automated
Right.
payments. I don't even want it, but it's a small town. It's not Toronto. So it's like, they're just keep sending it to me. And I'm just like, whatever. Like literally, I don't get mail.
I got a call all of a sudden, okay, from our buddy Greg. He
Yeah.
was just like, because of the Canada Post strike, we were supposed to send something out for the Forest Hill property, right? And you have to mail it out in a certain amount of time to the community so that they have enough time to actually have it, right? And know what's going on. And so it's like, well, it wasn't supposed to happen until another week from now. But all of a sudden it's like, well, sorry, but if you don't get it to us tomorrow, you're going to be delayed a month, right?
Yeah.
And so, do you know what a month frigging costs, right? And then on top of it, you got to pay all these guys to do all this stuff, right? Yeah, I think you, of all people, know how much a month of this thing costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. And just because they can't, who the fuck mails? Like, why can't you email? Why can't the city email a notice to everybody?
Yeah. Like to get your property taxes, you need to have an email registered with the city, and that's how you are going to get your information from them.
It's 2024. Like, what's going on?
Somewhere in the world, they're doing that right now, and they're laughing at us. They're laughing at us. We're using fax machines over here, basically.
It's so insane. And so everybody has to scramble and everybody has to stop working on whatever they're working on. And then I got to pay guys like all kinds of extra money and say, hey, fuck, whatever I got to do, like, you got to get this thing done, man. We got to get this thing done by tomorrow. By tomorrow, like, this is not normal. Okay. And so, like, for a service that is, if it's $315 million a quarter, that's over $1 billion a year of losses in this stupid thing, including all the shit that they send at Christmas time for fuck's
I had to pick up something. I had to pick up a check from a lawyer's office because I was like, well, can I send a courier? And they were like, we need the ID of the person who's going to be picking it up. And I'm like, huh? I was like, okay, I'm on my way. Like this, let me just, and it was like their office was so close to my office. I was like, can anybody just like bring it over? And they were like, no.
What?
And then we've got these new rules. Okay, so the Toronto Real Estate Board has always got new rules. They're fantastic. Which, by the way, they voted down a $60 upcharge. So there's a bunch of realtors who left the business, and so the Toronto Real Estate Board said we're going to be short $8 million now in our revenue. Okay, because people are leaving. The membership is down. So they said we need to make up for that by charging everyone $60 more, and it will make up for $4.5 million of the lost in revenue. And so they brought it to membership.
Great places, right? It's useful.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
This is good money.
Don't get me started. So then they voted down. They were like, no, we can't afford $60. We don't want to charge people $60 more, and that we'll just figure it out. Okay. Now, the point of that story is I'm not really sure, but I know why. So the other rules that they've got was that we have to send the buyer's brokerage. It was my listing, and so we have to pay the buyer brokerage within a certain amount of days. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble or something. I'm not sure. So my office is like, you got to go pick up that check. Like, we need it.
But I'm not allowed.
Canada Post.
Damn you, Canada Post.
Post.
And then every other company, like all the credit card companies, send you an email saying like, it's your responsibility to figure out where your statement is and when to pay it. And if you don't get it in the mail, it's not our problem. You're fucked.
Automated payments.
Yeah, but
just take the money.
Payments.
Automated payments should be
the dumbest thing.
For what?
For anything. You shouldn't let people just take your money. What if they don't do what they were supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
Gas company?
Yeah, the fucking
Do you know what
gas
happens
company.
when they send you a gas bill, Darryl? You pay it.
You pay it.
Yeah,
but you
and
pay
when
it
you get the bill,
own leisure.
But if you got an issue with it, then you can fight them on it. But if you don't pay it, they charge you late charges and penalties and all.
You can eliminate all that
automated
stuff
payments.
Anyways, it's in the same phone call.
We agree to disagree.
For
Canada
change.
Post. We hope you get back on schedule, and that
No.
the great people.
No, we hope you
great
close.
people of Canada Post get a raise for their hard work.
You guys should all be
rain.
gone.
What's the U.S. one? Through rain, through sun, through
sleet and slow,
through dogs and
service.
Whatever it is.
Listen to
We're
me,
gonna get
TK.
that mail. Canada Post people, we support you.
No, TK, that's incorrect.
That's from the Canadian Real Estate Show stands by you.
We think the Canadian Real Estate Show thinks it would be a great idea for them to sell all of their
does not have the
properties,
representation or authority to speak on behalf of the Canadian Real Estate Show.
all of the properties, and help pay off some of this goddamn debt. Because listen, $1 billion deeper every single year for this stupid service that we don't even look. TK, I'm 48. I've been here my whole life. I can't trust that the letter's going to get there. If I want something to get
packages,
lost,
though? What about packages?
But what about them? They're like so much more expensive than using UPS or some guy.
They own Pure later.
Yeah. What? They
It should just be. Yeah. They should be. They should be. Like Uber, right? Like you know, the guys who are delivering.
Uber has a package service.
I know. But what I'm saying is, it should just be. We should just completely privatize it. We got people driving around the city anyways. Why not? I'm going to the grocery store. Why not go and pick up Jim's package from the package center near my home and go and drop it off at his door because Jim's busy at work, and we can all just work together.
Just get a bunch of Tesla robots to deliver the mail and sort the mail
eventually.
Right.
And so how much is the Canada Post real estate worth?
Ooh. A fortune. I just bought one a few years ago on Shepherd and Bayview. Well, I didn't buy it. I put the deal together. It's being built right now. $699 Shepherd. It's Originate. He's building it right now. Yeah. And he bought that thing, if I remember correctly, this got to be 6 years ago now. Maybe 5 years ago, for $9.7 million. And it was a beautiful, like 120 wide, 115 wide by 285 feet deep, right? Big, beautiful, beautiful lot, and just super undervalued at the time. And at the time, the zoning actually called for like a 3-story building or something stupid, right? Yeah. Even though the study was based on having a subway stop right there, like, everything is so dumb, TK. Everything is dumb, and it's not getting less dumb. It's getting more dumb with the appearance of less dumb.
Well, what do you think about the city of Vaughan then reducing development charges? Like some of them are like 90%.
Do you want to know what I really think? I probably shouldn't say what I really think. I think it's I think it's fantastic that they're coming down, but look at who the guy is that's there. And I mean, just dig a little bit deeper.
Okay. The developers and the city of Vaughan obviously is
tied in very tight and closely.
Basically where things are at. My dad was telling me a story this morning or yesterday.
I guess a lot of stuff will start happening in Vaughan.
Quick developer story. So my dad does subdivision in the 90s. He sold 280 homes for a developer, Italian guy. Okay. Yeah. And so he played hockey with a politician, a provincial politician. So talking to his client, they are, have got all their builder buddies and developer buddies and all that kind of stuff. And they were talking about whatever they were trying to get done as far as, support from the province. And so my dad set up a meeting with one of the guys as an MPP with these group of developers and all that kind of stuff, and connected them in order to be able to get their sort of, fair shake. Right. Mm-hmm. This is how it works.
This is how it works.
And so when you want to get something done, you say, who knows that guy, that minister, that whatever, and set up a meeting with him. And whoever's got that contact, my dad probably got a 280 home subdivision sold because of that person that he knew.
Right. And see, as much as I obviously understand how it works, TK, and I get it, it's like, why? I keep saying, like, just give me a playbook, man. Give everybody a playbook. Here's the rules. You don't need an MP to get more because you can't get more. Okay? You want to build less? By all means, do whatever the fuck you want. But this is the envelope in which you are allowed to build something in.
Darryl, you're understanding more and more about development as I hang around with you. Okay. What is that envelope?
Whatever it is.
That's the problem.
No, but it's whatever it is.
But that's the problem.
No, but here, check this out.
But that's the problem. You just justified why that 3-story building at Bayview and Shepherd shouldn't be what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, but then you just move on to the next one.
15 stories? Should it be 40 stories? Should that ever be able to be challenged?
Well, that's what's crazy.
Where do you draw the line?
So when they went, and they've been doing it for years, and they're just in construction now, I think it's 12 stories, 11 stories, 13, something like that. Okay. If they went in now, that thing is 50 stories. Okay.
100%.
45 stories for sure.
That
and
site
it's
that I was
only a
talking
few
about,
years later, which is crazy. Right.
The site I sent you yesterday, same area, middle of a residential neighborhood.
But why if you put in an application for something and you're in the process, look, you should just not be able to change it because you need the fucking stock, right? It made sense. Like, keep going, right?
Okay, but that neighborhood that I sent you.
What did you send me? You didn't send me anything. You
They-
talked to me about something.
Oh, you didn't look up the address? Okay, it's Bayview and Shepherd. It's a residential neighborhood.
Oh yeah, I did look at that. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Residential neighborhood.
Yeah, sure.
Is it 20 stories? Is it 40 stories?
That thing there,
stories?
60 stories, easy.
60 stories.
Why not? That's right beside the what's it called site, the old Canadian Tire site, right?
Okay.
Where they have all those crazy towers already. It must be 40 stories already, 30 stories. I don't know. Listen, it's right by a subway station, right?
Yeah.
It's inside one of these MTSA zones. Guys are going
Yeah.
for nutty stuff.
Yeah.
Nutty stuff. Meanwhile, I'm in one of these zones and I'm going for 7, and I got like the backlash from the Bettys like crazy, right? Like it's unbelievable. I should be going for 14, 18 stories there and fighting like hell like everybody else, right?
Mhm.
But instead, I'm just trying to be nice. And what do I get, TK? What do
Slap
I
in the
always
face.
get? I
Slap
get
in the face.
fucked around all the time by everybody. It's unbelievable. Maybe I'm just too goddamn nice, TK. Maybe it's my fault.
You know what? I've heard that often about you.
Jesus Christ.
that
Everybody
often.
describes
Must
me
be
as
true.
super nice, right?
Must be true.
Guy's fucking nice to
All
everybody.
right. So City of Vaughan reducing development charges is not.
No, that's big. That's big.
That's big.
You
Okay,
asked me
big.
what my opinion was on like
So,
why it kind of came to light.
Do other
there.
cities follow now? Because really, this is like just
Ooh.
like the federal government right now. So this is my opinion, but this is like why it doesn't happen. I'll tell you what the best idea is, and then I'll tell you why it's not going to happen. One is site-specific development charges.
Oh God.
Okay, I know. But
I wonder who's going to get the cheaper ones.
I know, but
Not
that's what
this
it
guy.
should be. It shouldn't be like,
What?
okay, we'll just do a blanket because the city needs their income.
Are you kidding? Like you're
No,
serious?
I'm dead serious. But
Dead
they should-
serious.
I'm dead
Mr.
serious.
DeGasperis, we're going to charge you
Oh,
$8 for this
that's
site.
the problem with it,
Hey,
okay?
Mr.
But
Musso,
that's the problem with
$42 for
it.
this site.
But they should
Mr.
say-
Frankfort, you're going to pay $8 billion.
This is what they should say is, hey, we need more of this product. We need to be in this area. We need to have somebody who can build by this timeline. And if you do, here's the benefits that you're going to get. That's what's going to spur the activity.
Why not
because
just, you know what's going to
think
spur the
about-
activity?
think
Reasonable
about how
rates
many
for
zone
everyone.
Sites. No, think about how many zone sites right now could go apply for a building permit, but the numbers don't make sense.
Yeah.
Take away the development charges on those sites only and say, put in your building plan, right? No, your building permit, submit for building permit right now.
Because you're an asshole and you've
Otherwise-
been waiting on your permits. All of a sudden you're Mr. Lucky.
Yes.
Fuck that.
That's how
Everybody
you
should
get
get the
stuff
same
done.
thing.
No, that's how you get stuff done.
I don't know,
Then
TK.
the problem is the government will choose their
Can we
people
count
that
my
they
sites in
are-
this, TK?
Yes.
I
if you're
could be
ready
on
to go.
board if we counting my stuff.
And they'll say you have to be zoned by February 2025 and
Alright.
apply for building permits by August 2025, and then
I'm
you'll
in.
fall into that
I'm
criteria.
good. I'm on board now, TK. You've won me
Good.
over. What a politician.
This is how it is, though. These are the things that need to
how
happen.
it
So they're
is.
not going to say how
don't know.
much development charges are we going to lose because of X, Y, and Z. No, because they're not getting those development charges. Those,
Well, it's a
those
matter of
properties
time, but no,
aren't going to
they're
get
not.
built.
No,
they're
they're
going to
not.
stay there, and some of them may never get built. They may turn into something else or remain what they are. Some of them
They're
it
going to
could be
get
20
bigger
years.
and higher and higher and bigger.
Sure, but right now it's going to stimulate development. That's
I don't
what
know.
needs to
Well,
happen.
I guess if you did that to a
So-
bunch of good sites.
Olivia Chow, I know you're listening.
Chow, can you understand what we're saying?
We don't want to reduce. We don't want to reduce the development charges. You can
Is
keep
she
them where they are
wrecking the
at that
English?
incredibly inflated number. But what we want to do
fucking
is
crazy,
right now
lady.
allow anybody who's got a zone site in Toronto
Yeah.
to be able to go and apply for a building permit and have no development charges as long as they build by a certain date.
Now you're talking, TK.
All right. thank
Now
you.
you're talking.
You're welcome. Now,
But you're not the only guy saying this. Everybody in the goddamn industry is saying this. And guess what's happening? Everything
they're
that
trying
you
to
see.
do a blanket one, and that's what the cities are nervous about. They're just
I don't
like,
think-
ooh, if we do that, then that's going to cause a precedent, and that's what's going to give us the obstacles and down the line of collecting revenue because they have no money, they're broke, right? And that's why they're talking about to the federal government about the Housing Accelerator Fund, and they're trying to be able to suck back as much provincial support as they can. And there's so
But
many.
they're not getting
different
anything
things.
built with all this shit. Nothing's happening. They're not listening to the people
what?
that are saying, hey, we know what we need in order to
Okay.
get this going. But everybody says, no, We're not going to listen to you. You guys are the evil developers. You're too rich. We're not listening to you guys tell us what you need, right?
What's
We're
the
going to
number
listen
one
to
thing?
fucking Fabian
What's the
down in
number
like
one
planning.
thing that developers are saying right now why they're not building purpose-built rentals?
Because the goddamn costs to the government take up 30% of the budget.
Good.
And
And
interest
that the
rates
numbers
are crazy.
don't make sense.
And the numbers
right?
don't make
so you've
sense.
You've got Fitzrovia now talking about raising a lot of money.
$1 billion fund.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
In order to be able to build purpose-built rentals. Now, whether
they're
this
going to
fund,
get it.
you know, actually builds anything or not, I don't know. But
Fitzrovia is the only guy building purpose-built rental all over the place. Like he's crushing.
They're doers.
He's crushing.
Right?
That guy is crushing it everywhere.
Yeah. So that's the type of stuff that is going to be beneficial to everybody, and everybody talks about it. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that this is not the right way to do it. But if I think that, like the Greenbelt, those guys would have built houses, man. I know it's not fair, and they're making billions, and everybody's upset, but they would have built houses because they know what they're doing.
Lots of houses.
They know how to build units.
That's right.
They are going to build those units, and they're going to have the money.
And
they're going to do it in an efficient way, and their budgets are going to come in on target, and it's going to be
and he's one of the top guys out there saying, cut the goddamn development charges. This is crazy what we have to deal with. And so they're like offering deferrals, right? You can defer it, but
deferrals. What's
still
deferral?
need to get that money.
What's
at
a deferral?
Some point, right?
Yeah. What's a deferral?
I mean, it defers it to a point in time where you can kind of refinance the deal in a way that maybe you don't need to borrow that money or get more equity, but it's kind of horseshit.
The returns are already so small on these things.
They're so tight.
The returns that people are expecting, in order to get people to invest with you, you got to pay them an arm and a leg.
Arm and a leg.
You know,
I'm
right?
not kidding.
People are not going to give you money unless they are going to
expensive.
Get a very good return, and that your return as a developer is minuscule at best. So for you to have to actually pay back those development charges later on doesn't make sense. There should be some way to have them. They should be deferred until a certain date, and as long as you meet all this certain criteria, then you don't have to pay them back. That's a very government-y thing to do, right?
I guess, but like, what are they doing with this shit? Like, where's it going? Why shouldn't we be responsible to just deal with the stuff that affects our own site and like move on? Like, if we need, if we need more water pressure, okay, because the street's tapped out, then it's like, okay, like we'll deal with that for our part of it, right?
Yeah.
But like the city should be responsible for some shit too, right? The problem is like nobody wants to pay for anything, right? So where does it come from? All this stuff. Where does it come from when you want better water pressure
people.
On a street, more sewer systems on a street, more garbage pickup on the street? Where does it come from?
I got another idea, Darryl.
Robots?
No. Celebrities.
Okay.
Look at all the alcohol, like the big deals that these celebrities are doing right now. They're just like, try my whiskey, and everyone buys it. And then, like, I went into the store the other day. I'm with my son, and he goes, "Look, Messi's got this new drink, Mas, and it just looks like Prime, and they're right next door to each other on the same shelf at the gas station."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just like this weird battle of like garbage products that celebrities are putting their name on that people are buying. Real estate needs to have celebrities. Think about all the celebrities who are rich off real estate. Mayweather, Pitbull, A-Rod. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a millionaire before he was even Mr. Olympia because of real estate. Who else?
That's crazy.
Doesn't matter. But think about if we got, so I don't know, Drake. I don't know. Who else is in Toronto? Who else is Canadian? Justin Bieber.
Touch Drake with your 10-foot pole.
Well,
TK.
who cares? You put some celebrity
People
at
are
the head of a
doing
fund.
that.
At the head of a fund.
Yeah. What's that guy from the Home Garden Television?
Scott McGilvery.
Scott McGilvery's got a second fund.
He's got a fund. Yeah.
People will just put money into any fund.
Scott McGilvery's doing it.
Oh, that guy must know something.
It attracts money. It attracts people.
Money.
There's a brand that's associated with that. So we need to get some celebrity involvement because the people have to all, pitch in for us to be able to get this done. The developers only have so much resources, and the developers
what do we need?
And expectations.
Like a GoFundMe led by Beyonce to get the sewers.
I don't think an American one is going to want to help the Canadian real estate market, but I'm sure there's some big Canadian
Ryan
Celebrities.
Reynolds. We'll get
Ryan
him
Reynolds.
to get us
Okay.
some sewage over here.
He owns the soccer team. That guy's a businessman.
He owns everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, as usual, we're getting
Off
to the
topic?
bottom of nothing, and
off topic?
we're having fun. So,
Yeah.
what else is going on out there? What's November like from your perspective? Because we don't want to hear what's going on in my world.
Yeah.
My world is a
I got
fucking
some
mess.
sales. We had a big sale this week.
Big
$6 million
sale.
$6 million property sitting
Yeah.
on the market for 2 months. All of a sudden sold.
$6 million
yeah,
sitting there
King
for
City.
2 months, which is only 60 days, which is not
Yep.
crazy for a property to sit, even though
Yep.
people
I'm getting
fucking
good
crazy.
activity on listings.
How much did it sell for? Hang on.
Like
What
close
was it
to 6
listed
million.
for?
Close
What?
to 6 million. Close to 6 million.
So where was it near what they wanted or expected?
It was more than what the last one in the neighborhood sold for. So
You're a politician, TK. You are so
Well-
good. Answer the question
but that was a
directly.
good result. It was a good result.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're giving them an extra $250 for making the sale. Just
yeah,
because
$250.
Well, I don't know. You're talking like a politician right now. What
No.
did they get near
They
what
got
they
more
wanted?
money than they should have got.
Should have got. So then not what they wanted. Their want was crazy out of like the realm of reasonable.
People, not everybody's on that price point, that price range and stuff like that. It's hard to see exactly where values would be.
Sure.
It's hard to see exactly,
harder.
How much a property would sell for. So
Yeah.
it's not a seller or a buyer's
So,
responsibility.
but like, what
it's the
happened?
agent.
Did something shift in the market? Like you felt something different? Was there all of a sudden a bunch
I'm not
of
going to say
action?
shift, just the same things that happened. We had a bunch of listings in September, so a bunch of product came on the market. Much less came on in October. Buyers came out. They started buying. They heard their friends bought. We had a couple rate cuts over the last 2 months.
I got
They
6
got it.
million.
People think that another one's coming up, and so
Yeah.
people are excited and they think that it's time to buy again. And yeah, like I've been getting activity. I'm really not disappointed in the activity. None of my listings right now are sitting there cold turkey. I got this one that's a hard sell, but I got a buyer for it. It's a commercial property out in Gore's Landing up by Rice Lake that I've been talking about. I got a
Where?
buyer. Their work. Don't worry about it. We talked about it before, but
Okay.
it's far. But I
Far.
got a buyer, and we're working on it, and they're getting a business plan done, and they got money, and they've already done some testing and things like that, and we're inching our way closer.
Are
And then
you
my
saying it
land
like-
deal, I got 2 land deals that are sold.
Not confident in that.
No,
what's going on
it's
there.
just a really tough sale. That the guy
Yeah.
was on the market for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not doing it for the money, okay? I'm doing this for the guy because
Well,
he's
if
a
every
good guy.
sales pitch is like, don't worry about where it is, just like check out the pictures, it's beautiful, then
No, it's
definitely
it's a
not an
really
easy
tough
sell.
property to sell. There's not a lot of commercial investors looking to buy properties in the middle of nowhere.
in the
Okay?
middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
And
got to
so-
find the right guy
It's
for
a tough
that.
sell. But the other part is this land deal. So I got this. Nobody's buying this sucker. We got it on the market last year. I sell it conditional to a developer this year who's going to build 2 houses. It's 2 lots. There's 3 for sale, but one of them's landlocked, so I haven't even started to market that one yet because I don't even know what it's worth. Finally I get a guy. We get it accepted. Seller's happy. We got a reasonably long conditional period, 75 days. All of a sudden, people are throwing firm offers at me.
What?
They're throwing firm offers at me saying, hey, because I told them, I said, well, you're telling me you're interested, but like, are you really interested? So they said, here's a firm offer. You get released from that other deal. We'll take it. So I'm like,
Holy, that's weird.
something's weird, right?
Isn't
Like,
that
people are
always
looking
how
to
it
do that.
is? Always how
Right.
it is. It's like there's
Yeah.
no action. I remember back in like 2009 when I lost everything and I had to sell my own house, right?
Yeah.
The house was on the market forever. The market was just crumbling. Like nobody was buying shit. And it was like just dragging on and dragging on. And then finally we got an offer from somebody
Yeah.
at like noon. Okay. At 2 o'clock, another offer comes in all of a sudden, and we're in
Yeah.
a bidding war situation, which
Bump it
thank
up.
God, because like
Yeah.
we ended up getting maybe an extra 40, 50 grand, which
Yeah.
back then, as the
Yeah.
world was crumbling around me and I was at like
Saved your bacon.
minus, I don't even know what, I got to
Yeah.
be at minus 50 grand less.
Yeah.
Right. But thank God. But that's always what fucking happens. It's like
Yeah.
you're watching a property for a month and you're like waiting and waiting, and you're finally ready. You put in an offer and they're like, oh, we
Yeah.
just got an offer. We just accepted an offer yesterday.
You're a single guy, and the girls aren't looking at you. You're wondering what's
That's
going on.
right.
All of a sudden, you get a girlfriend, and they're all like
Everybody wants you.
missing out on the opportunity there. You know,
It's crazy. This is
that's
how
it.
things work. It's absolute insanity. Well,
Did we
TK,
cover everything? What else do we got? We
I
got
think we covered everything interesting.
Canadian dollars is
Canadian
pulling
dollars
away.
fucked. Everybody thinks. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
the Canadian dollar getting worse. Yeah. And prices are going up. I mean, that's inflation. That's not good. But I remember when I was younger, other than when we went to another country and we're just like, holy shit, our dollar's worth fuck all.
Yeah.
Like it was booming here in Toronto. Every movie got made here. Everything was being made here. It was like this town was rocking and socking. But we were at like, I don't even know, a 60-cent dollar. It was probably even like 54 cents when I was a kid. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But like in my lifetime, we've even been at parity with the US
I remember
dollar.
that for 2008 or 9. That was the only time in my lifetime that I remember that I was
What?
actually paying attention. Parity.
Parity? No, I'm
Yeah.
talking like way when I was like 2
Maybe
years
in the
old or
90s?
something. No, like
not
in the
back then.
70s or something.
You don't have to tell everybody.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but this is how crazy these swings are. But I'm pretty sure that things are good locally, or at least feel like it. Maybe they're not
Yeah.
good. I don't know. The real estate market doesn't behave like it did back then.
Interest rates affect it. So we're obviously pounding the overnight
numbers are
rate right
just so
now back
big.
down. And that's obviously going to influence fixed term investors and where they want to be able to, put their money. And yeah, the Canadian dollar is most likely going to be weak going forward. There's actually one more thing that I've got to talk about with you, and that was the renoviction bylaw that was proposed by the city. So let's talk about
Crazy.
N13.
Fucking
Okay, so N13. It's actually a really
They're so
sneaky
dumb.
way, okay,
Sneaky way
to
of
work.
what?
So you want to get your tenants out, right? Or you want to do a major renovation. Sorry. You want to do a major renovation.
My
or
daughter's
demolish
gonna
the
live in
house.
the unit, is what
No,
you're
that's an
supposed to
N12.
say. Oh,
So so an N13 is you get a building permit and you go to the tenants and you say, hey, I'm going to compensate you if it's 5 units or more, 3 months rent. If it's less than 5 units, it's 1 month's rent, something like that. Or you say, I'm going to give you like a replacing unit. You're going to say, hey, I'll put you up somewhere else, right? Depending on what kind of landlord you are and how long the renovation is going to be. But some people can say, all right, fine. Once this renovation is done, no matter how long it takes, I want to be put back into that unit. And then you need to give them after you finish the renovation, you give them 60 days to move into that unit, and you got to give it back to them at the same rate they were paying.
yeah.
So now you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Who knows what you've done to their unit, but you need to give it back to them. So it's a big risk for the landlord. But what these landlords are doing is this. They're saying, okay, no problem. We got our building permit. Everyone's got to go. We got our orders. Everyone's got to leave. Here's your compensation, 1, 3 months, whatever the compensation that necessary is. And then when the renovation gets done, they drag that renovation. They drag it. They take as long as they possibly can, right?
Who the
So when
fuck is
renovation
doing
gets done,
this?
this is what people do. This is why this bylaw came out. They drag it on until they send notice to the tenant, because he says he wanted to move back in. So they send notice to him to that address, but it got lost in the mail, Darryl, and they rent it out to somebody else at market rent. Now, the landlord-tenant board protects the new tenant.
The new tenant now.
The new tenant, and says, look,
Sorry.
this guy's rights are he paid $3,000 a month rent to live in that 2-bedroom. So we can't just ask him to leave. You're out of luck, Mr. Tenant. And
Yeah,
so
you
then they
took
have
so
a
long.
fine. They got a fine. So the fine, the landlord's like, okay, I got to pay a rent differential. So I got to pay the whatever it was that he was trying to negotiate with the tenant on cash for keys, right? Whatever the differential in rent is, right? But the tenant was like, I want $100,000. But instead he's like $1,000 a month, 12 months, 12 grand, 2 years, 20, whatever the number is. He pays him that. So now he's got his market rent. He's lifted his building. He's refinanced out his money. He's used the N13. He's abused the system. And so the city's like, how do we protect that? So they've got all these new bylaws in order to protect the tenants from those type of things.
From the
happening.
people that own the building. They need to be protected. Okay, TK, this is how it should be. This is how it should work.
Oh,
Okay.
Hold on.
Ready?
Hold on. Make sure everyone sit
Ready?
down.
Sit down, get
You know,
ready. I got
get
the
off
solution.
the treadmill.
No.
Pull over on the side of the road.
This is not that
You know what I mean?
shocking.
Stop walking the
This is
dog.
how it should
Darryl
be,
is going to
TK.
tell us how it should be. Okay.
Ready? I own this property. I'd like to do this to it. Get the fuck out by this date. I'm sorry. Okay? If you want to live here again, we'll give you a rate sheet. You can have first dibs on any unit, but you're going to pay the new market rent. Because you know what? I own it. I bought it with my money, right? This is mine now, and this
Yeah.
is what I want. How the fuck can I go buy a building and the people that live in it get to dictate what the
They
fuck
tell you
happens
what
with
to do.
my building now?
You're cutting the
Um,
grass at
go
9
fuck
a.m. in the
yourself.
morning on a Saturday. Like,
This is
you know what I'm
crazy.
doing at 9 a.m.? I'm having my coffee backed in on my screened in porch that I've got 3,000 bicycles on.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm trying to enjoy life and you're out there cutting the grass. Can you come a little bit later?
This is absolutely crazy. And this is like it's kind of similar to what I was saying last week. It's like, why do the people that live in the apartment get to dictate what the fuck I do on my
Well,
properties?
those people have
They
rights,
don't even
and the
own it.
landlords who do the N13 that way are wrongfully evicting them, and they're abusing the system, and that they should be punished, and therefore the city is trying to come up with
You should
ways
be allowed
solve
to
this.
kick people out of the building and
Well,
say,
the rules are the
"Guys,
rules. I'm not
sorry."
saying it's right morally or not, but I mean, as far as like what is the law, that those are what the laws are. That the laws protect tenants, and if you're a landlord, you should know that.
I
You
think
gotta figure out a way to accept it and to work within the rules. Otherwise, you're going to be labeled. There's lots of bad landlords who get thrown in the media and get really, put through a lot of pressure there.
But people are kind of forced to be bad landlords by these rules because if you want to empty the building, you got to let it turn to shit and make them leave, right? You got to hire
Yeah.
Brutus to go in and live there
Leave
and
some
just make a
cockroaches.
mess all the time, right?
Yeah.
But you can't care about the building in a way that you want to because you're stuck with the fucking rents. You can't get things to climb with inflation. So you got to leave the building because how are you going to spend money on the fucking building, right? My dog is going absolutely crazy. Can you hear
I
it?
don't hear it. No,
Fucking,
not at all.
fucking dog, man. But this is crazy, okay? So
Yeah.
you own it. You got no rights. You can't raise the rent like what you want, what market
2.5%.
is. You can't fucking fix the place when you want to.
You better fix it
can't
when they want you to, though.
Like, this is absolute insanity. So why do people do it here? Why do people want to do it here? The
Well,
rules
you know
got to
what?
change. They're going to
Daryl,
change.
if anybody's
Stupid.
looking to buy a rental property, again, you can book a call with me down below. 15.
Yeah, and I'm building one. Okay,
telling
like I'm building one right
90% of
now.
millionaires are made through real estate.
But this is a new building. I can raise the rents in it every year.
No rent
right?
control is key. I got guys building multiplexes. I'm getting calls from people who are talking about it, and the differential between buying an existing building right now and just and converting and then adding the laneway suite or garden suite and all that kind of stuff compared to starting fresh and just building new, it literally makes or breaks the deal with the rent control.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it makes or breaks the deal because
and you have to
no
put
options.
Yeah, and you have to put in like, I mean, you can't plan for crazy rent increases and inflation. Like, you just don't know what it's going to be. So the whole thing is
You're
crazy.
gonna budget 2.5% still, but it's just
You're gonna-
in the day when the day comes that you're able to increase the rents, it's different. But if you got existing tenants and they're paying, whatever they're paying,
2% you get to raise them while inflation's really at like 12.
And your rent control is based on if that property's ever been occupied for residential use. So if at any point in time it was finished, whether it was a duplex, triplex, whatever it was, an unfinished basement, that would be a new unit. A garden suite, that would be a new unit. But if you convert a house into 2, 3, 4, 5 units, they're not units. They're all considered already occupied, and rent control will apply. Daryl, get yourself a glass of water.
Choking to death. That's
We've
what just
had a
happened. I
great
took a sip of water.
We've had a great episode today. I think we had a lot of back and forth. I think you interrupted me less today than you have in the past, and I'm proud of you.
I'm so much better at it than you, T-Guy. I am so much. You're like a steamroller lately.
You are progressing.
We should probably follow the Tom Story show and change this to the TK Butler show. And then it would just make sense that you cut me off every time I open my mouth. But until then, TK.
Until then, I can start my own show if I need that.
You should. Oh, I'm dying here.
Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Just one take, man. That's all I need. I'm a pro.